The first time I saw Commander Erin Kale without her armor, I thought she was dying. Up until that moment, she had been nothing but a legend encased in alloy. 7 feet tall, in full combat plating. Black and silver exo-armor etched with the sigil of the Varelian High Guard. A war hero from the outer colonies. Survivor of the Draxian incursion. The woman who held the line at Karthus Rift when 3 fleets collapsed. And she had walked into my repair bay, like a collapsing star. "Are you Elias Mar?" Her voice had asked through the distortion grille of her helmet. "Yes," I'd replied, trying not to stare. Her armor's outer plates were melted in places. Microfractures ran across the chest core. Dried streaks of something dark clung to the joints. "I require discretion," she said. That was how it began. The mechanic and the warrior. I wasn't military. I wasn't political. I was just a systems engineer stationed on Orlan Station, a drifting industrial hub orbiting the gas giant Kethra. My job was simple: repair damaged exosuits and retrofit outdated armor systems for private contractors. Military officers didn't usually come to civilians. And they certainly didn't come alone. But Commander Kale had. When her helmet disengaged, the seal releasing with a soft hiss, I realized something was very wrong. Her face was pale beneath faint blue Varelian skin tones. A long cut traced her temple. Silver-white hair clung damply to her cheek. And her eyes, luminous violet, like all Varelians, were unfocused. "You're bleeding," I said. "I am aware." She took 2 steps forward and collapsed. Beneath the alloy, Varelians were known across the systems as living weapons, genetically optimized for strength. Reflexes 3 times human baseline. Neural-linked armor that responded to thought alone. They were bred for conflict. But as I cut through the damaged sections of her armor, I saw the truth beneath the myth. Bruises, burns, shrapnel embedded along her ribs. Her neural interface ports were inflamed from overload. Whoever she'd fought had pushed her armor beyond safe limits. "Why not go to your fleet?" I asked while extracting a melted coupling from her shoulder assembly. Her eyes flicked to me. "Because this damage is not in the official report." That was the first crack in the legend. The battle at Karthus Rift had been declared a strategic victory. The Dominion's broadcasts painted it as controlled, decisive. But her armor told a different story. Power core strained far beyond protocol. Manual override signatures. Emergency bypasses that shouldn't have been necessary. "You stayed longer than you were ordered to," I said quietly.
She didn't respond.
Silence was answer enough.
The trust.
Repairing Varelian armor isn't just mechanical work. It's intimate. The exo-frame sinks directly to the wearer's nervous system. The internal lattice maps bone density, muscle tension, even emotional spikes. To fix it properly, I needed her neural link open. "That means I'll see your combat logs," I warned her. She studied me for a long moment. "If you speak of what you see, I will know." "Fair enough." She placed her palm against the armor's inner core. Authorization. Kale Aaron 7. The suit opened fully. For the first time in years, she stood without it. Varelians were tall, but without the plating she looked smaller. Not weak, just mortal. Scars traced her arms, old ones. The kind that predated neural regeneration tech. "You're not what I expected," she said suddenly. "What did you expect?" "Someone who would ask for autographs." I snorted. "I prefer functional machinery over celebrities." That earned the faintest curve of her lips. And that was the second crack in the legend. What the logs revealed. When I accessed her combat memory feed, my hands froze. Karthus Rift wasn't a controlled defense. It was a massacre. 3 Dominion fleets ambushed by an unknown species, biomechanical constructs that adapted to energy signatures in seconds. Her unit had been ordered to retreat. She hadn't. Instead, she rerouted power from life support into weapons, drawing enemy fire toward herself while civilian evacuation ships escaped through a collapsing jump corridor. Her armor recorded every impact, every overload, every moment her vitals dipped into fatal range. And one final transmission from High Command. Commander Kale, withdraw. That is a direct order. Her response: negative. If I withdraw, they die. She stayed, alone, for 9 minutes. 9 impossible minutes against a fleet killer armada. By the time reinforcements arrived, she was the only one still transmitting. The official report called it bravery. The logs called it desperation. And something else.
Fear.
Not of death, of failure. The cracks between us. The repairs took 4 days. 4 days of recalibrating neural filaments, reinforcing structural nodes, replacing a nearly ruptured microfusion cell. 4 days of conversation in fragments. She didn't talk about the battle. Instead, she asked about Earth. About why humans modified machinery beyond specifications for fun. About why we painted our ships different colors when uniformity was more efficient. You optimize for survival, I told her once. We optimize for victory, she replied. That's the difference. She watched me carefully after that. On the 3rd night cycle, power fluctuations rolled through Orland Station. Routine solar interference. The lights dimmed. She tensed instantly, body shifting into combat stance despite lacking armor. It's just a surge, I said. She didn't relax immediately. Her hands trembled. That was when I realized the truth. The armor wasn't just protection. It was distance. Between her and the memory of being vulnerable. Between her and fear. Without it, she was just Erin. Not commander. Not symbol. Just someone who had nearly died and hadn't processed it. The thing she trusted me with. On the final day, as I sealed the last plate into place, she surprised me. There is an additional modification I require, she said. Off record. Yes. She handed me a small data crystal. Inside was a private subroutine, a failsafe. If her vitals flatlined beyond recovery, the armor would trigger a self-destruct cascade, ensuring no enemy could capture Varelian technology. Standard protocol. But she wanted something added. A delay. 10 seconds. That delay increases enemy capture probability by 12%, I said after running the math. Yes. Why? She hesitated. For extraction. You think someone would come back for you? No, she said softly. I think someone should have the chance. That was the moment I understood. She didn't regret staying at Karthus Rift. She regretted that no one had come soon enough. The armor had always been about survival. Now she wanted it to be about hope. I installed the delay. Something more. When she stepped back into the fully restored armor, it responded like it had been waiting for her. Plates locking. Energy core humming steady. Neural sync stabilizing. She rolled her shoulders experimentally. Improved, she noted. Don't get used to free upgrades, I said. She paused at the bay exit. Eliasmar. Yeah, you have seen me unarmored. Hard to miss. In Varelian culture, that signifies trust. I blinked. I just fixed your suit. No, she corrected gently. You saw the part of me the Dominion does not. There was weight in that. Varelians didn't show weakness publicly. Their entire society revolved around strength projection. And she had let me see her at her lowest. That trust is not given lightly, she added. I didn't know what to say to that. So I said the only honest thing. Then don't make me regret it by getting yourself killed. Her visor slid down, hiding her expression. I will try. The return of the unknown. 2 months later, the unknown fleet from Karthus Rift reappeared. larger, adaptive, unrelenting. Dominion forces mobilized. This time, Commander Kale led the forward strike group. From Orland Station, I watched tactical feeds with thousands of others. Her armor glinted at the forefront of the formation. The battle was worse than before. Energy beams warped space itself. Ships tore apart under adaptive countermeasures. And then, her squadron was surrounded. Again, history threatening to repeat. Her vitals spiked. Armor integrity dropped. Power rerouted to weapons. She was about to stay behind. Again, I saw it in the telemetry. Then something different happened. Dominion reinforcements altered course early. A risky maneuver. They had calculated the 10-second delay. They knew she had a window. And they took it. Extraction ships punched through enemy lines as her armor dipped into critical failure.
Her core destabilized.
Self-destruct countdown initiated. 10 seconds.
9, 8.
A grappling beam locked onto her suit. 7,
6.
They pulled her clear.
5, 4.
The enemy swarm closed in.
3, 2.
The armor detonated in empty space, a starburst of controlled fusion that shredded the nearest enemy constructs. And she was already aboard the rescue vessel.
Alive.
After the fire, the battle ended in a narrow Dominion victory. Losses were heavy, but not catastrophic, and Commander Erin Kale survived. Weeks later, she walked back into my repair bay, this time conscious, carrying the shattered remnants of what had once been her armor. "You're going to make me rebuild all of that?" I asked. "Yes." She set the ruined helmet on my workbench, and we will incorporate improvements.
We.
She tilted her head slightly. "If you are willing." I looked at the fragments, scorched, fractured, but not destroyed. Kind of like her. "Yeah," I said. "I'm willing." She stepped closer. Not in armor. Not as commander. Just Erin. "There is another aspect of Varelian trust," she said quietly. "Oh. When we allow someone to rebuild our armor, we allow them to shape who we become." That was heavier than any alloy I'd ever lifted. "And the something more part?" I asked carefully. For a moment, she simply looked at me. Then, without hesitation, she removed the neural interface band from her wrist, a device that synchronized identity data with military command. She placed it in my hand. "In our culture," she said, voice softer than I'd ever heard it, "this signifies chosen bond. Not command. Not duty. Choice." Outside the viewport, shipyards burned bright against the stars, preparing for whatever threat might come next. Inside the repair bay, for the first time since I'd met her, she didn't look like a legend. She looked hopeful. And that was something far more powerful. The galaxy would remember Commander Kale as the warrior who held the line. But I would remember her as the woman who stepped out of her armor and trusted a mechanic with her scars. With her second chance. And with something more fragile than alloy. Her heart.